And this podcast is presented to you by the all-new Seltos SUV from Kia, official vehicle of the Orlando Magic. Give it everything. And we're pleased now to catch up with John from inside the NBA campus at Disney. And John, it's always great to catch up with you. And first of all, I just got to get your thoughts. It was a fun day yesterday for most of it, most of the game. And then right towards the end, obviously, the very difficult scene with Jonathan Isaac. And we now know that he's got a torn ACL. So I guess, first of all, we're all very sorry. We're sorry for him, sorry for everyone involved, and love to get your thoughts and how J.I. is doing, first and foremost, how he's handling everything.
I think he's doing well. He's a guy of, obviously, we're very aware of the strong commitment that he has spiritually, and I think there's a carryover to him handling this now. And so he's always has a positive attitude. He always has that smile on his face. He'll continue to do that. He'll continue to work hard and get himself back from this.
John, this is not new to you. You've seen this. You've seen these injuries like this time and time again. How difficult is it for you, in your position? And I know you feel so badly for the kid.
Yeah, it's difficult when it happens at the moment.
Right.
And then you wake up this morning and you go, it's just a knee, and it's a part of what we do. It's a part of competition. We've all over all of our years, we've all watched and seen a lot of guys go down with injuries very, very similar to if not the same exact injury. And so, you get up and you kind of strap the boots on and say, look, let's get back to work and let's try to continue to play well. We're playing well now. Maybe we can continue to do that. And it's not like our team is all of a sudden just without Jonathan. Now he's gone. We haven't had him for quite some time. Sure. So I think our guys, the adjustment's going to be somewhat easy for them. It's always nice having a guy like that on the bench that you can bring off the bench and eventually probably start him. But we've been going without him, and we'll continue to do so.
John, I know that you guys were comfortable bringing him back, or he would not have been back on the court. Given that, how surprised were you, the medical staff, just everybody in the organization, that this injury occurred?
Oh, man, David, shocked. Absolutely shocked that it occurred, But once again, I mean, if not Jonathan, it could have been someone on the Sacramento King roster. It could have been someone else on our roster. And I know he was dealing with an injury, but, we all know how hard he worked to get himself back, to get himself ready to play. And, look, so Jonathan sets another 2 weeks and then plays because the injury occurred. Set another 2 months and come back because the injury occurred. Wait until the start of next season. Look, we can go on and on and on and have all these different ideas and thoughts of the woulda, coulda, shouldas. But at the end of the day, it was determined. I think twofold. It was determined twofold from our medical staff that he was ready to go. And look, you also have to depend on that player. I know Jeff would probably say, no one knows a player's body better than himself when you're out there competing and on that grind every day and the grind of rehabbing like that. And, so you have to trust the player. It's just not, you're not sending a guy out there and he's apprehensive like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm ready. He's committed. He's ready.
Yeah, let me just say, can you segue to it, John? I think that of this grouping right here, I'm the only one that has torn an ACL in an NBA game. Am I correct on that? Okay,
I was close. I was very close. I was close one time. Very, very close.
So I would just say, here's one of those things is like when I did mine, I'm in the end of April. We're a week out from the playoffs, playing the best basketball of my career in the best shape of my career. And it's a freak thing. It just happened. It was, if you went back and looked at the film, you'd say, I don't really see anything, but it's part of the game. Injuries are part of it. And ACLs usually are just a freak accident. It has nothing to do with prior history in most cases and things like that. And, when I'm sitting there and I'm watching the replay, brought back a lot of memories for me because very similar. You just make a step and things happen. So, I think I'd go along with what John said. It could happen at any time to any player. you know, in Jonathan's situation, because of his injury history in the past, we just feel bad for him because the kid has worked so hard to get where he is right now. So
I think that's so well said, Jeff. And that's the real key. It's kind of the internal feelings that everyone has, is because he has had some previous issues, and we know how hard he's worked to get himself back. And then the last 48 hours, the stance he took, a lot of emotion went into all of this. So man, it just like smacked you, you know, when he went down. I mean, you could feel it right in your gut for a lot of like really emotional reasons, not just the knee itself at that time.
That's absolutely right. He's 22 years old, John. Long term, I know you're not a medical guy, but you're around our medical people. Long term, what are the prospects for Jonathan coming off this injury and his history?
Oh, look, it's you know, I don't want to get too laissez-faire and say, hey, look, ACLs are a dime a dozen. They happen a lot, but they, you know, it's a common injury in today's sport. And you know, the interesting part about sport today, and we've been saying this for the last few years, is there's no career-ending injury anymore. Guys can come back from anything, and an ACL is it just occur. I mean, I've been around guys, many guys who, you know, I can think of a guy like later in his career, a guy like Antonio McDyess, who had, you know, a couple really difficult knee issues and came back and finished his career extremely strong after a number of years in dealing with that. So anyway, I mean, that's just one name. I'm sure Jeff could go on, and we all could, you know, pick out guys and players that maybe that, you know, you've had as teammates or that we've all been around or worked with that have gone and had long careers after dealing with injuries like this.
So, John, we've heard a lot of the things that the bubble has, the campus has there at Disney. One of the things it has is an MRI machine. So, Jonathan was able to go and get that scan last night, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Right there in the bubble.
I mean, it's interesting. You know, sometimes you know you see these occur, and even like sometimes in your own like arena, and you start thinking, oh, what hospital can we get him to? And they'll say, well, it'll be like an hour or two, whatever. I mean, I heard him say, we can have the MRI in 15 minutes. I was like, wow, you talk about efficient. Just another example of how efficient everything has been in this bubble.
Well, John, how about your guys? I mean, this team is playing terrific basketball right now. And again, I know Jonathan's going to be in their thoughts the rest of the way, but this has been a resilient bunch ever since you got here. You've seen them, and how are they taking everything? And they understand certainly the risk that you take playing this game, and that injuries are a part of it as well.
Well, you know, I give you know, two factors to that. To me, it's one, it's our players, and as you talk about the resiliency that they have, and you know, guys that just kind of have that workman-like approach, and how important that is, especially in dealing with things like, you know, the uncertainty of injuries and things like that. You know, but you get a guy like Vooch. I mean, the guy just comes in the gym every day, does his job. You know, Fournier, Aaron Gordon, they come to practice, they work every day. DJ, you know, a young guy like Markel is coming back, and I think he's learning to do it the right way, and he's showing those kind of attributes. So, you know, I give our guys a lot of credit for that. A guy like Michael Carter Williams is out there, you know, giving everything he has on the floor, and so and I also give Cliff credit for that. I mean, Steve Clifford is a coach. He's just kind of a, you know, we all know, kind of a no-nonsense guy, but a great communicator with the players. And, you know, you don't want to get, you know, start talking in cliches here, but you kind of have to kind of use that, oh, you know, next man up type theory.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of what we're looking at right now. And, but, you know, as I said, we've been without Jonathan for a while. So, you know, guys just step up, and we'll continue to, I think, hopefully we'll continue to play hard, continue to compete. Our effort, you know, obviously, hey, last night we were basically almost 50-50-80, 50% from the field, almost 50% from three, and 80 from the line. You do that, you're going to win a lot of games. But along with that, there was an energy level with our team. I mean, defensively, man, we were moving, we were playing so hard, we were competing. Our rotations were crisp, and the ball movement was very, very good. But you know, you get in one of those rhythms, and it all starts happening and starts working. And you know, now we got to find a way to do it again tomorrow night against Indiana.
John, David and I were talking on air last night a little bit about being on the campus, no travel, no distractions, more time really to focus on the game of basketball, whether that's, in preparation, going into the auxiliary gym when your time is up, getting extra shots and things like that. Do you think that's made a difference? Scoring is up during the time on the bubble and everything. We're seeing a pretty high level of basketball. I maintain because there's really not much else to do but just focus on the game. Are you seeing that as well?
I think so, Jeff. And I think, what else? The rest factor. The fact that how sometimes they'll talk about having your family in for the holidays and how distracting that can be because you have so many people in the house and then they go away, but you still have, you still have your immediate family. For some players, you still have your wife and maybe a child or two. And here, there's no one here. It's just us. And so I can tell you, the rooms are quiet. And I think rest is playing a part into the equation that you're talking about, Jeff. I think the guys are rested, and you're right. I think there's a singular focus on basketball, and the rest factor is a part of it.
David still has people in his house from Christmas.
Yeah, they're never leaving. No, we don't. It's not like that, Dante. But we do have a lot of guests around the holidays.
Just saying, huh?
Just saying.
We love them, though.
Well, John, what has your team found here? That is, this all seems, shot making is going to come and go, but the energy, all the things you talked about, the workmanlike approach, these are all sustainable things. The way they're moving the basketball, the way they're defending, the energy they seem to have. What do you like about what this team is doing right now?
Well, but you get a little worried and get a little concerned. We have 3 scrimmages.
Yep.
And the first 2 scrimmages, we could not make a shot.
Sure. Right.
And so you walk off the floor in a game like that and say, well, we kind of did what we normally do. We competed at kind of the right level, and we did the little things defensively that we're supposed to do, and we played within our system, and we didn't turn the ball over at an extremely high level. We just couldn't make a shot, and you go, oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to make a shot. And then the third scrimmage, we came out and shot it well, and now we've continued to do that in the first 2 games. So you don't want to simplify things too much and say it's just about shooting. But I mean, man, the energy that is created when the ball goes in the basket, and the energy is created when you get that steal and get a breakaway, or when you hit that open 3, it's so contagious and just helps so many things. So, obviously the theory is if you're not making the shots, then the defense has to, you have to create that energy defensively. And I get that. And you have to do that. You have to find a way to be tough enough to do that and mentally tough enough to do that. But boy, making shots sure does help.
John, we've seen Steve Clifford. It's really interesting to watch him shift the way that he coaches in terms of his player rotations, how many players he's using. And it's been impressive to Jeff and me, and I'm sure everybody, just how much quality play he's gotten from so many different players. The first unit has been efficient. He goes with a full 5-man second unit. They do a great job. Even without Jonathan Isaac, I feel like you plug Gary Clark or Wes Iwundu into that spot, you're still going to be able to operate and function effectively. How important is the depth that you guys have been able to put together, and not just for your team, but throughout what we're experiencing? As you said, all we have is basketball game. A lot of basketball games, they just keep coming with just one day in between.
Yeah, and I looked out there last night and saw that the second group kind of rolling, and I realized, oh my gosh, the second group, because of injuries, the second group last night consisted of Markel Fultz, Michael Carter-Williams, Terrence Ross, and Jonathan Isaac. That's pretty strong, along with Kim Birch, who's going to give you great energy and effort. But I mean, those 4 guys, from an offensive skill standpoint and overall player standpoint, those are good players. Now, obviously, some of those guys are starters, and they'll move back into different spots at different times. But our depth has been good, and now we're down 1 man with Jonathan. But you're right, a guy like Gary Clark Gary's played well. Gary's a good basketball player. He's interesting. He rebounds the ball a little better than you think he's going to rebound it. He'll get like a sneaky block shot that you don't think he's going to get. And then, hopefully, so far he's continued to make those open threes. And if he can just do that and help us stretch the floor, that will be a key factor. And you're right, getting a guy like Wes back, Wes brings some energy to us. Jeff always talks about Wes being one of our better runners, and he's right. Wes really runs the floor, helps things get out in transition. He's another guy. He's a little better ball handler than you realize, and when he plays within himself offensively, I think he can be very effective.
John, so we're 2-0 so far in the seeding games. We played 2 teams we needed to beat, sub 500 teams. Schedule gets a little tougher now. The next 4 against playoff teams that are looking to make a run late into the playoffs. How does this change things now? What do you see? What's your preview for us of the next 4 games?
4-0, JT. He predicts 4-0. All 20-point victories. No big deal.
You're right. You're right. That's probably kind of an open-ended. I'll put you more on the spot, okay. John. Just tell me, what are the challenges that you see, the difference from the previous 2 games?
Well, I agree. About that? I did like when you started with the 2-0. That sounded very good. That was a good start.
Right.
Look, man, the challenges are you play better teams. You got to even play better than we have, so, you think we played hard in the first 2 games. To continue to win, we're going to have to play harder. You think we play, efficient, smart basketball, we're going to have to do that and more. We're going to have to continue to shoot the ball as well as we have. So all those kind of things, no slippage. You can't, probably the effort, everything has to be more consistent to beat these kind of quality teams. And that's why they are who they are, because for us, probably the difference between us and them is their margin for error is greater than our margin for error. That they can sustain at times, a few more missed shots, maybe a few more, maybe defensive laps here or there, something like that. Well, for us to beat those kind of teams, we have to have less of those.
John, you guys have been there almost a month now. It seems the days all blend together, but you guys have almost been there a whole month. Talk about a little bit what went into making the guys feel like home. I know there was a lot that went on with Becky Bonner's group and Zach, our chef, things to try to make the transition into the campus life there at Disney as seamless as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously tried to have some team activities, some dinners, some bowling, some things like that. Becky and Regan did a great job of, putting pictures up, family pictures around some of the rooms. It's fun for me. I walk into our meal room and say, hey, there's my daughter and my wife. It's kind of fun to puts a little smile on my face. I can tell you this, it puts a smile on my heart when I see them. So I'm sure it's the same for the players when they have a chance to see their families and significant others and people connected to them. And so sometimes it's your pet. That's not all bad too. I love my dog. My dog didn't make the picture. It disappointed me. But yeah, it's been great, and the league overall, I think, George, the fact that, the old saying, no stone unturned, that's what's going on here with the league. I mean, it's been remarkable what they have done and how they have done this. This thing can't be duplicated. Yeah. I mean, even if they said, okay, we're going to shut this down when it's over, and let's do it again in 6 months. Let's just say whatever, a year from now. Mm-hmm. I don't think they could do it again. It can't be this good. Maybe it could, but I mean, they did not miss a beat with this. And so I think the fact that they've done that, I think that's helped the players feel comfortable knowing that it's safe, it's organized, and everything is ready for them.
Is there one thing there that is on the campus that just blows your mind that it's there? I mean, we've seen some photos of, like, say, the barber shop that was built just in the middle. Is there one thing where you're just like, holy crap, how did they do this?
I didn't see it, but I want to see it. So this is one that I was shocked by this. So Jacob Diamond, our equipment manager, I was at a practice a few days ago, and was kind of standing by Jacob, and one of the players threw their practice jersey over towards him, and I just said something to him about, like, laundry, and I said, Jacob, like, where are you doing the laundry at? And he told me that they took, I think it was like from when the Atlanta Braves used to have their training camp here.
Right.
spring training.
Mhm.
I think it was their batting cage, and that they went in and they put in 63 washers and 63 dryers right across from that.
Wow.
You can imagine. I mean, I got to see it. I got to see it. And he goes, and you think about that, in the batting cage, you don't have water, you don't have vents, probably not a whole lot of electricity and other things. So they had to go into, how quickly could they have gotten that done? But once again, everything. But to me, talk about all the basketball things, talk about all the niceties they have around. I want to see those washers and dryers. To me, that is totally remarkable.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So John, so
They
last,
tweeted a picture of that out. I saw that. He had a
Oh, he
photo
did?
of
Oh, did he?
washers and dryers. Yeah, you can find that.
That was good. Hey,
So
John,
John,
I'm going to make
go ahead,
I'm going to make some money for the organization here. So hold on one second. Hey, Freddie, if you need to venture out, get your essential items. Please don't get behind the wheel if you've been drinking. Instead, find a designated sober driver or use a delivery service. And remind your designated driver to always wear their safety belt and comply with the speed limit. We want everyone to make it back home safely. Remember, drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation. We appreciate those good folks, and no one has that problem on the NBA
He's not driving
campus.
anywhere. He's not going anywhere.
he's driving a golf cart.
Dante, it was kind of funny when you started that, because we're on a Zoom like this, you were kind of looking over the top reading. I thought you were talking to Jeff.
No, we all thought we were talking to Jeff there.
I'm just glad you said Jeff, not me.
I know. I was
So John, the other night, last night, Dante, in his moment with Dante, had a story about the Magic team players going golfing. And so we had a picture of a bus pulling up to the golf course, and first guy off the bus in his hat and his mask is John Hammond, and he grabs his clubs. And so my question to you is, like, so I kind of know Disney a little bit. I know the Grand Floridian, where you're staying, can't be more than half mile, 3/4 of a mile from the Palm Magnolia golf course. So you can't just grab your clubs and go play around. It's an outing where everybody goes together. Is that what I'm seeing there from that story?
Yeah, but once again, Jeff, that just goes to tell you about everything that's going on here and how precise everything is. I mean, it's remarkable. We get out our website, and they have activities. You hit the activity button, and then there's different things that you can do. One of them, let's say, be golf, and then you'll hit the golf, and then they'll say, you hit Grand Floridian, and they'll give you your tee time options. And it's not all day. Usually, sometimes it's options like early morning, late afternoon, or whatever. But then so you make your request. They'll even come back and say, well, how many of there are you? I mean, everything is organized to a T. To here's your bus time. Now they're going every 15 minutes for that. But even that, when you go over to the golf course itself, they have your name. If someone you're forcing that was supposed to be there, they'll ask you, well, where's Jeff Turner? As an example, he was supposed to be in your group. I mean, everything is just so precise and so well organized. The one thing that's nice about golf, I will say this, is that two things is, one, it gets you out of your room for a while, and if you're going to play 18 holes of golf, it's like sometimes a 3 to 4 hour window. So just to get out of the room and get some fresh air, that's great. And the second thing is you do it without a mask, because we have to wear masks all the time. Right. So those two factors really make golf enjoyable. And if you ever hit the ball well, then it's really fun. That's the hardest part.
That is for all of us too, John. Well, hey, listen, last thing, and then we'll get you out of here. We appreciate the time as always. But do you talk with Jeff and the players and your other people, cohorts and people inside this campus on just the historic nature of this whole thing, what it means to be a part of this? It's never happened before, and you're all in there. You're on the front lines of something that we've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, we a lot of us talk about that, and I've visited even with guys from other teams that we've said the same thing, that this is a history maker. It's a history maker, and I think it's going to be too because of the way they did it, on how well it was run. Knock on wood, if I can find some wood near enough, that hopefully there's no outbreak, everything's going to be safe, continues as is, and if it continues like that, I mean, it's so far so good. It's working like clockwork. And think about this: the bubble's going to shrink. In just a matter of a few more days. That's going to be 6 teams gone. And then the playoffs start. There's going to be 8 teams gone. So the
Sure.
bubble is going to continue to shrink. It's going to make it easier to run. And but overall, I mean, kudos over and over to the league and for what they've done.
I get a sense, though, John, that nobody's doing a victory dance just yet, right? There is a long way to go. I mean, everybody's got to stay focused on how to keep things safe, right?
100%. But, you know, David, it's kind of interesting. Yes, I think that is the case. But there is a little bit of us. I think that I don't think anybody's – look, yeah, you do kind of let your guard down a little bit because you feel so safe. But you know, basically, you have eyes on you every moment here, with the exception of when you're in your room. I mean, so you are being watched. If you think for one moment you're going to stray somewhere or not have your mask on or not, you know, take your test that day or whatever, it's not going to happen. So I think that you do let your guard down a little bit because it is so well run. But I think you know, they're watching and they're making sure we're doing it right, and hopefully it continues to be safe.
This podcast presented to you by the all-new Seltos SUV from Kia, official vehicle of the Orlando Magic. Give it everything. John, thank you so much for the time, and good luck the rest of the way, okay?
Man, great seeing these faces right here. I love it.
Appreciate it, John. Have a good one. Thanks
See
so
you,
much.
John.
See you, John.